Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. The Fact Finders ensure to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to be alerted once we post. Today we're diving deep into the United States of America, a land of vast landscapes, diverse cultures, and surprising facts. You might think you know the US, but I bet there's a lot you don't know. So grab your popcorn, get comfy, and let's get started. First up, let's talk about the English language. You might be surprised to know that the US doesn't have an official language. That's right, while English is the most widely spoken language, there's no federal law declaring it the official language. Next, let's talk about the US flag. You know the stars and stripes, but did you know there's a special day dedicated to it? It's called Flag Day, and it's celebrated on June 14th each year. Now let's talk about some geography. Did you know that the US has more coastline than any other country in the world? That's a lot of beaches. And speaking of beaches, the US is home to the longest continuous beach in the world, the Outer Banks in North Carolina. Let's shift gears and talk about food. You might think that hot dogs are a purely American invention, but they actually originated in Germany. However, they were popularized in the US at Coney Island in New York City. Now let's talk about some history. Did you know that the US has never lost a war? While it has faced many challenges and conflicts, it has never been officially defeated in a war. Next up, let's talk about the White House. You might think it's always been white, but it wasn't originally. It was actually painted white in 1814 to cover up burn marks from when it was set on fire during the War of 1812. Now let's talk about some animals. Did you know that the US is home to the only wild horses in the world? They're called mustangs, and they roam freely in the western states. Let's talk about some states. Did you know that there's a state in the US called Rhode Island, but it's actually not an island? It's the smallest state in the US, but it's not an island. Now let's talk about some inventions. You might be surprised to know that some of the most common things we use today were actually invented in the US, like the light bulb, the telephone, and the airplane. Next, let's talk about some holidays. You might think that Halloween is a purely American holiday, but it actually has its roots in ancient Celtic traditions. Now let's talk about some sports. You might think that baseball is the most popular sport in the US, but it's actually football. That's right, American football is the most popular sport in the US. Let's talk about some music. Did you know that jazz music was born in the US? It originated in New Orleans, Louisiana, in the late 19th century. Now let's talk about some movies. Did you know that the first feature-length film ever made was made in the US? It was called The Great Train Robbery, and it was released in 1903. Let's talk about some national parks. Did you know that the US has more national parks than any other country in the world? That's a lot of beautiful places to explore. Well, that's all for today's video. I hope you learned something new about the United States of America. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.